All right, welcome. Today we're going over the Week 15 schedule. I know I can't believe we're already here this far into the season. Going to be going over all the games and making our predictions for each of the ones. And as you can see here, went 9-4 last week. Had a pretty decent week. Just hopefully we can have another week like this. So without further ado, we're going to get right into it and start making our predictions. So first game, Thursday Night Football. We have two division rivals going at it. We have the red hot 49ers with Brock Purdy going to the 12th man and facing Seattle. So both, I would say that this is important for both teams, but it's more important, I think, if Seattle wins this game. They lose this could very well almost cost them the playoff spot. I'm like, being serious, this could really end the season if they lose. And of course, they got to play against the 49ers, who are looking great. On the 49ers side of it, they had a great game last week. They look great with Brock Purdy, man. I mean, I know it's a small sample size, but from what we've seen, man, he was doing great things, and they put the beating on Tampa last week. So, and then Seattle coming off that tough loss to Carolina, which I think is going to really come back to bite him in the ass. Just, looking at it, I really think San Francisco is the better team in this fight, although Seattle is probably going to be the more desperate team and needing the win a lot more than San Francisco does. I still am going to pick San Francisco to win this game just because I think they're the better team and they're ready. I think they're going to rally behind Brock Purdy and try to clinch this division. So San Francisco for this one. Next game, we got some Saturday games finally coming up into the season. So, Indianapolis Colts at the Minnesota Vikings. Don't really think I'm going to go over this one too much. Minnesota's just a better team in this situation. Even though they lost last week to the Lions, I still think they're going to be able to handle business at home, coming off a tough loss. Just Indianapolis is just kind of a lost season for them. So, give me the Vikings. Next game, we have Baltimore Ravens at the Browns. So division opponents going at it. Baltimore, they still have that division lead. They're tied with Cincinnati, but they still, on technicality, since they beat Cincinnati, they have that division lead. So I think that Baltimore really, if they want to keep that lead, they got to win this game. All things considered, though, we still don't know if Lamar's coming back. And on the Cleveland side of it, man, I mean, Deshaun obviously hasn't played in a long time. So we still got that rust on them, but I still think Baltimore's going to be able to edge it out. I think their defense is really, really going to be able to shut them down. So give me Baltimore on this one. I just think that they're the better team, and I think they're the more desperate team. Same case of Seattle. They really kind of need this win. I mean, even if they lose, they're for their division. They still got a good chance at getting a wild card spot. But for this game alone, I'm going to keep it with Baltimore to take the dub. Next game. This is a big one. This might be, honestly, game of the week, in all honesty. But two division rivals going at it again. Miami at Buffalo. So Miami these last few weeks, man. I think a lot of people are starting to lose hope in this team a little bit. And the hype's starting to die down a little bit. And I think that what the 49ers did to him a couple weeks ago is kind of exposed and kind of given the league the blueprint to beat them, And even last week, that game really, the score does not tell the full story. That game really was dominated by the Chargers the whole night. And, one of their touchdowns for Miami was a fluke play, fumble return where the ball just pops out of the pile and it somehow lands to the fastest player on the planet. So, and returned it for a touchdown. So, on the Buffalo side of it, they played a really, really tough defense in New York last week in a rainy game at home, though, but still a tough team. I gotta give the New York Jets credit, man. They have really improved this year, and I really do believe in them. But keeping it on this game before I go, off track here. But Buffalo, man, this is going to be a revenge game for them, considering that Miami beat them in, I believe it was week 3. So this is a big one for Buffalo, and even a bigger one for Miami. But, we heard reports that Miami had some small little heaters on their sideline in the Chargers game, because the SoFi Stadium had their roof open, and if that's the case, then I don't think they're ready for Orchard Park in Buffalo. I believe the early forecast said that it's going to be in the 20s, probably going to maybe be lower than that. I mean, it's Buffalo in December. So I don't think Miami's built for this. I really don't. I think Buffalo's going to really show them that, you got to be able to play in the cold environment. And this is why New England was good for so many years. This is why Green Bay is always good in December. Kansas City, you got to be able to thrive in the cold weather. And I think Buffalo has still got a bad taste in their mouth from how Week 3 ended. And I'm gonna take Buffalo in this one, and not a very close game either. I think they take care of business, and they put Miami in a very, very tough spot, making them lose 3 in a row now. And I think this is a more important game. I mean, I don't really know who it's more important for. I mean, Buffalo, if they lose this game, they lose the 1 seed for the AFC, not their division. But if Miami loses it, they really, really risk losing, not even making the playoffs. I mean, that 7 seed is really up for grabs between New England, the Chargers, the Jets. I mean, it is a tight race right now in the AFC, and I'm super excited for how these next few weeks pan out. But for this game, I'm going to take Buffalo, and not a very close game. So give me the Bills for this one. Moving on to the Sunday games, we have 2 division rivals going at it again. Both these teams still alive to honestly win the NFC South, which is crazy. Tampa for sure we thought was going to be a lock to win it this year, but man, this division's still wide open. But this is going to be in New Orleans. I think this is actually going to be a competitive game. But give me New Orleans on this one, man. I mean, I just think that their defense is going to really make it tough for Atlanta, and they are on their home field, and they got a little bit of a rest between the Monday night game that they just played. So I think it's going to really actually do good for them that they got that rest, and after what the Bucs did to them on Monday night, I think it's going to leave a bad taste in the mouth for them, and they're going to bounce back good. So, and on the Atlanta side of it, I believe they've already benched Marcus Mariota, and it's going to be Desmond Ridder leading the offense. So, don't know what to expect from him, but regardless, I'm still going to go with the Saints on this one. Next game, we have Steelers at the Carolina Panthers. So Carolina, same thing. They still got a shot to take the division away from Tampa. So, and they beat Seattle last week, who everybody was thinking Seattle was a really, really good team. Which, good team, not really, really good team, but Pittsburgh, they're still out. I mean, they're not going to make the playoffs, but they've definitely improved and have been playing better. But looking at this game, I think Carolina is the more desperate team, the team that needs this game means more to them than it does for Pittsburgh. Because I think Pittsburgh really is actually done, but Carolina still has a shot to make it into the playoffs with the division. I think they're going to ride the momentum off the dub they just got last week against Seattle. This is in Carolina. I mean, all the signs are pointing towards Carolina, so give me Carolina on this game. Next game, we have Philly at Chicago. So this one I really had to think about, and I know what you're thinking. Brandon, this should be an easy pick. You should Eagles all the way. And it is. I am going to pick the Eagles for this game. But Chicago coming off that rest, and who knows? This is going to be in Chicago. Maybe Philly underestimates the Bears a little bit, and maybe Chicago can make this game interesting. But I'm not going to actually put all my chips in that. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to fall for it. I am going to pick the Eagles for this one. Although Chicago is coming off their bye week, and they got that little extra rest. But Philly, man, I think they're really going to try to go for the 16-1 record. I think they're going to go for it. And I really think that they've got a shot to, man. I really think they've got a shot to. And I think it's important for them right now that they want to keep winning games. And I don't think they can afford a loss right now. I mean, they can, because they still have a 2-game lead over Dallas, and no one's going to catch them in the NFC unless they completely just shit the bed. But give me Philly for this one. I just think that they're going to be able to roll through Chicago pretty easily, actually. Next game, not going to talk about it. Taking Kansas City on this one. All right, next game, we have the Cowboys at the Jaguars. So, This is my upset pick of the week. I'm taking Jacksonville. I think Dallas last week, after pretty much almost losing to Houston, pulling out a 98-yard drive to win the game when they were at home to the worst team in the league. I think it just speaks a lot about where Dallas is and their mentality about stuff. The same old Cowboys, I know they're trying to go against that this year, but I mean, last week just kind of told the story. And Jacksonville had a great win last week, but very inconsistent team. But I'm going to take Jacksonville for this one. I think they're going to make it really hard for Dallas, and I think they'll be able to put up points. I really do. This is going to be in Jacksonville, and like I said, after what I saw last week, Dallas having trouble with the worst team in the league, I can definitely see Trevor Lawrence giving them a lot of trouble in this one as well. So give me Jacksonville for this one in my upset of the week. Next game, this right here, I believe is the game of the week. I know I said that about a game earlier, but this right here is the game of the week. This has playoff implications for both of these teams. And I think this game will be a loser leaves town game. So both these teams need it. Detroit 5-1 in their last 6 games. New York, they're tied with the Chargers and they're tied with New England for that 7th spot. So they can't afford a loss. So looking at it, man, the Jets have a great defense, an amazing defense. Detroit has an amazing offense. So this is in New York, and we know that Jared Goff is a better performer at home. So might be a little bit of a frisky game here, and I think it's going to be very competitive. And I've really put some thought into it, but I'm going with the Lions on this one. The Jets defense is great, but I don't really think that they've faced an offense as good as Detroit. I know Buffalo's got a good offense, but last week it was a rainy game, and it was a cold game. Threw Buffalo off a little bit. I still don't think Josh Allen's all the way there. But Detroit, I think that they've got that momentum, man. And I think they're starting to put the league on notice. If Detroit somehow manages to win this game and, eventually makes the playoffs, this is a team nobody wants to face. And I'm sure most of you would agree with me. Detroit is dangerous. And that's why I'm taking them in this game. I think that Dan Campbell's got this team going in the right direction. And same with Robert Saleh on the Jets side of it. He's got them going in the right direction. Both these coaches are great. But I'm thinking with what happened with Mike White last week, he got his ass beat by those Bills. And props to him for just keep getting up. He would not stay down. A lot of heart, a lot of strength. Mike White, shout out Mike White. But I think Detroit, their defense is starting to catch up to their offense a little bit. By no means is it the Jets' defense, but it's getting there. And I'm going to go with the Lions on this one just because I think that their offense is going to be able to put up points. And I don't think the Jets can necessarily go point for point with the Lions. So give me the Lions for this one. Oh my goodness, this game. Feel bad for whoever actually has to sit down and watch this one. Arizona, coming off that loss to New England on Monday night, also losing Kyler Murray. And Denver, not going to have Russ for this one after his concussion on Sunday. This one's going to be a coin flip. Just give me Arizona. Colt McCoy actually impressed me on Monday night. Was able to get stuff done, especially against a tough defense. But give me Arizona for this one. So next game. All right, this is one that was actually flexed out. I wish it was still in the primetime slot. But we have the Patriots at the Raiders. We have teacher versus student, Bill Belichick versus Josh McDaniels. The Raiders coming off that tough loss to the Rams in that final drive. And then New England coming off the dub against Arizona on Monday night. So this is going to be a really interesting matchup. I'm so excited to see how Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels play each other, have that chess match, teacher versus student. I'm really excited to see how this goes. Raiders have a great offense. New England, an amazing defense. So this one was one I actually had to think about as well. All things considered, I know that New England needs this game way more than Las Vegas. I think after what happened last week, it kind of really ended their chances of getting into the playoffs. I mean, nothing's impossible in this league, but being a realist, I think Vegas's chances are done. But New England, the win on Monday night, that got them in the 7th seed as of right now, and I think that this is going to be a must win. It's a must win for New England, and in all honesty, that's who I'm going with for this game. I think that Bill Belichick's got a certain way for his defense, and I think he's going to be able to actually, he worked with Josh McDaniels for so many years, and he's going to know all his schemes and all that stuff, his play style. I mean, he was the teacher after all. And Mac Jones actually looked pretty good on Monday. It might just be the little Patriots fan in me, but hey, that with what he was working with, he looked pretty damn good on Monday night. So I think this one's going to be a little bit of a low-scoring game, but give me New England in this one. And I think it is going to be a close game, but give me the Patriots for this one. Next game, we have Titans at the Chargers. Both these teams, Titans are in the playoffs right now, and then the Chargers, they're tied with New England and the Jets for that last spot. The Chargers, it's funny, they were in that 7th spot, and then New England won on Monday, and then they got taken out of the 7th spot. So it's really, this is the playoff team. Both these teams are. But the Chargers, man, after what I saw last week, like I said, the scoreboard does not tell the whole story. The Chargers were winning that game the entire time, and it wasn't particularly close. I mean, just a couple mistakes that really, made the game closer than what it was. And Tennessee, man, I'm not a believer in this team. I love Mike Vrabel. I love Derrick Henry. I love the identity of this team, but the Chargers, man, they need this. I think they need this one more than the Titans. I know the Jaguars are right on the Titans' ass for that division, but the Chargers, man, they impressed me. When Herbert had his receivers come back and he's working with a healthy team, at least on the offensive side, defensive side, not so much. But, he impressed me. And the Chargers looked great. The Chargers are a team, if they're fully healthy, I don't think anybody wants to see them in the playoffs. They remind me a little bit of the Lions, the Lions of the AFC. Just a team that you don't want to face right now. So I just think the Chargers are a better team. I trust Herbert more than I trust Tannehill. So give me the Chargers for this one, man. All right, this one. This game was probably a lot more anticipated at the beginning of the season, but looking at it now, it's, not a great of a game as we thought it was going to be. So we have the Bengals at the Buccaneers. Joe Burrow versus Tom Brady for the very first time. Excited to see that. But man, talk about a tale of two teams. Cincinnati getting hot. Looking really good right now. And Tampa Bay looking really bad. And this is in Tampa Bay. And Tampa Bay last week got the brakes being off them. So bad that they had to switch the game. They switched the game in like the early third quarter because of how out of reach it had gotten. And I really think that Cincinnati is low-key up there. It's the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Bengals. It's those three in the AFC, and it's everyone else. It's those three in the top tier. But the Bengals, it just talks about it, man. It speaks for itself how good they are. And I think that they're going to actually be able to pull this one out. I think Burrow gets the best of Brady in their first, and probably, who knows what's to come in the following months with Brady, but they're probably only matchup. But give me the Bengals on this one, man. Tampa Bay, this is not a Super Bowl. This is not a Super Bowl team, and I've never said that about a Brady team. My entire time watching football, I've never said that about a Brady team, but I'm saying it now. Give me the Bengals on this one, man. They're just the better team. Tampa is it's a nut house over there right now. All right, primetime slot, NFC East matchup. So this is huge. This is why they flexed it into the late slot for Sunday night. Both these teams need it. And like I mentioned about the Giants-Jets game earlier, this I think is a loser leaves town matchup as well. So these two teams played 2 or 3 weeks ago, I believe, ended in a tie. And that tie is really, really going to fuck things up for the NFC side of the bracket for sure. That tie is really going to make it. It honestly might come back to bite the Lions in the ass. That tie might come back to haunt them, but they both need this one. I can't say one needs it more than the other. They both need it because if, like I said, loser leaves town. Whoever loses this one is probably not going to make it. So all things considered, I'm going to go with Washington on this one. I just think that Washington, they're going to be at home, and I think Taylor Heineke is going to be able to figure something out. I think Ron Rivera is going to figure something out against this Giants team. Don't know the status of Saquon Barkley right now, so I just think that Washington's going to be able to pull it out. I think they're a better team, and I think they're going to send the Giants packing. I think this is the game where it all starts to unravel for the Giants, if it hasn't already. But give me the Washington Commanders for this one, and I think if they win this, I think it'll secure their spot in there. So give me the Commanders. And to wrap up the week, Monday Night Football, a matchup that would have been, looking back, this would have been so good if all these teams stayed healthy and both these teams, trajectory was met, but it wasn't. We have the Rams at the Packers. It's going to be at Lambeau, so it's going to be a cold one. Rams coming off that little break, playing last Thursday, so they got that long break, but Green Bay coming off a bye, so both these teams are going to be well rested. And the Rams coming off that win against the Raiders, Baker Mayfield having a great career comeback drive, and the Packers, like I said, this is really going to be a toss-up. All things considered, mathematically, Green Bay can still make it in. I don't think they will, but they still can. So this is a must-win for Green Bay. If they lose this one, it's for sure done for them if it isn't already. But I'm going to go with Green Bay on this one just because I think this team's built better for the cold. And on the Rams side of it, Baker played great. Played great in that last 2-minute drive for the Rams. But this is going to be, they're going to Lambeau. It's going to be cold, man. I don't think these LA boys would be ready for the cold. So give me Green Bay on this one to wrap up the week. So those are my picks for the Week 15 schedule of this NFL season. Let me know in the comments who you got for each of the games. Appreciate it if you could give me a like and subscribe and share the video if you want to do that too as well. But I want to thank you for tuning in. And as always, we will catch you next week.